literally about 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes after I walked in the door, my phone went off with the evacuation order. I'm a little bit worried that, you know, we might not have a place to go back to.
A fast-moving wildfire in Northern California has forced thousands to leave their homes with no idea if they'll have homes to return to, as record-high temperatures across the country are making for a scorching 4th of July. I'm Valerie Castro in for Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. Nearly the entire West Coast is in the grips of a devastating heat wave, and making matters worse, it's also fueling wildfires. In particular, the Thompson Fire in Oroville, California, about 65 miles north of Sacramento. It has already led to thousands of evacuation orders and destroyed a number of homes and buildings. Firefighters are working around the clock to contain it, even as temperatures start climbing to triple digits. California is going to see dangerously hot temperatures up to 20 degrees above average through next week. Something to keep in mind, as nearly 44% of the country is under heat alerts right now. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, Hurricane Beryl is still keeping people on edge. The now Category 2 storm is heading toward Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula after grazing past the Cayman Islands this morning, after lashing Jamaica's southern coast yesterday, where 2 people were killed and thousands are without power or shelter. Adding to Beryl's already destructive and deadly path across the Caribbean, talking with NBC's Gabe Gutierrez on Meet the Press earlier, Kingston's mayor says he is unable to even contact family right now.
I myself have been trying to reach my family in that section and not able to reach them because some situation where our power lines are down, persons cannot be able to even simple thing as to charge their phones.
Our team is tracking it all tonight. NBC News meteorologist Michelle Grossman will have the forecast. Sam Brock is in Jamaica. But first, let's go to NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin in Los Angeles with the latest on the heat and that wildfire. So, Dana, what's the biggest challenge right now in putting out the Thompson Fire?
Yeah, Valerie, right now, it's the triple-digit temperatures. We had the wind that was impacting that fire over the last couple of days. Those winds have since died down. And so since this morning, only about an additional 200 acres have burned, which is significantly less than the night before when that fire exploded to almost double its size. Fire officials now warning people, even with this hot heat, they also need to take precautions. Listen to what a CAL FIRE PIO told our colleague Steve Patterson.
Needing to get more breaks for folks to get hydration, take time off in the shade throughout the day, take a moment in the fire engine and the air conditioner to grab lunch. Just a lot of those things that can kind of make that day go a little smoother and not have any issues with heat-related injuries.
Yeah, so right now the Thompson Fire is 7% contained. The cause remains unknown. Some 3,700 acres have burned. And as this heat wave continues, it's just a great reminder to stay hydrated, stay indoors, and that includes pets. Valerie?
And Dana, we just heard how fire crews are dealing with that intense heat wave that's moving through the region. But how are the people who are evacuating managing those same conditions?
You know, it's been a challenge, and for some, it's kind of been like a panic situation. Steve also spoke to one woman who was in Oroville. She had to evacuate her 90-year-old father, and listen to what that experience was like for her.
It's just getting intolerable.
Is that sad for you to say?
It's very sad. It's really sad. You don't want to be living out there in the 108 degrees. I'm more worried about my dad. 90's too tough to be handling this. I'm gonna have to find a brother or a sister that could take him in where it's cooler, but he doesn't want to leave.
And it's just heartbreaking. So many other families have stories about trying to evacuate with very little items. And in her situation, she actually has dogs. So the shelter that she was trying to evacuate to doesn't allow dogs. So she has to stay outside along with her pet, trying to keep the dog hydrated. So it's been really challenging, really frustrating for a lot of people in this area. Valerie?
Yeah, a lot of things that people are dealing with. Do we know yet how many homes or businesses have been destroyed? And when might people be allowed to actually go back to their homes?
Yeah, so we do have an update. 4 homes, or they call them structures. They haven't officially confirmed how many are homes, how many are businesses, but so far 4 have been confirmed burned. And we know that some evacuation orders have either been downgraded or lifted. So you've got some families returning home, but those that are under those evacuation warnings are still advised to stay ready, because if there is a shift in this fire pattern, it could force them to evacuate once again. And this is also not only impacting their daily lives and their livelihood, but it's also impacting 4th of July. In the city of Oroville, where this fire is burning, they have canceled their 4th of July fireworks celebration. They've also banned the legal fireworks. We call them safe and sane here in California because they have other restrictions than you may have in other parts of the state. Even those are banned because this is just such a dire situation, and they don't want the potential for anything to be set ablaze, and which could hinder the firefighters' efforts in trying to get this fire under control. Valerie?
Okay, I know you'll be watching that closely over the next several days. Dana, thank you. Let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Michelle Grossman. Michelle, it's the holiday weekend. People likely want to be outside, but should they be out there?
I know we want to be celebrating picnics, but, you know, we're going to see that heat continuing, and it's dangerous heat, as Dana has mentioned. 148 million Americans under heat alerts across the West, prolonged heat. This is going to last well into next week, and we're not getting the relief at night. So we're not getting that rest and recovery, and then it's all over again the next day. Temperatures 5, 10, 20 degrees above normal for this time of year there. Then as we head down towards the south into the mid-Atlantic, we're looking at the heat as well. Temperatures well above normal. You factor in the humidity, and that's when it gets really dangerous, really hard for your body to cool off. So this is going to be a big story over the next several days. You need to take precautions, hydrate, stay indoors during peak hours if you can. And if you can't get to cooling centers, if you don't have air conditioning, a lot of people don't in the West. So as we're looking towards the West, we go throughout tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures into the triple digits. Look at the daytime high in Redding, 118 degrees. That is the air temperature. That's 19 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. Triple digits in Portland, Las Vegas, Tucson, same story as we head down towards the south. It has been so hot there this whole season. We're looking at 98 degrees in Houston, but notice that number next to it, because you factor in the humidity, it will feel like 108, and that's what our body perceives as a temperature. Same story as we go throughout the mid-Atlantic. Raleigh feeling like 108, feeling like 93 degrees in New York City, and that's going to stay in place. So then by Saturday, that jet stream still lifted so high to the north. What it really does, it essentially cuts off any cooler air coming down from Canada, and all that warm air continues to rise to the north. So we're looking at Medford 113, 25 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. 92 in Eli, Las Vegas, 114 in Phoenix and Boise, 98 degrees. And it stays hot. Not just tomorrow, not just Saturday. We're looking at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, temperatures in the triple digits in Fresno, 109 by Tuesday, looking at 118. Las Vegas all Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Palm Springs looking at 119. And we're looking at Phoenix temperatures in the triple digits as well. Valerie?
Wow, really no relief over the next few days. Turning to Hurricane Beryl, what's the latest on the track there?
Okay, well, we have a really dangerous storm still. Again, this looks more like September, October. So we're looking at temperatures in Beryl at 110 miles per hour. So as we go throughout time here, we're going to see it maintaining that strength for a bit before it kind of encounters some wind shear. So I'm going to scoot through some of these maps here. But we are on the cusp of a Category 3. We had that earlier. It has since weakened a bit, but still 110. If you get to 111, that's a Category 3 storm. That's a major hurricane. So right now, the location is 180 miles east-southeast of Tulum, Mexico. And it's moving quickly. It's been moving quickly this entire lifespan. It's going to continue to move quickly. That's the only saving grace with the storm. We're looking at the movement northwest at 20 miles per hour, far away from the Cayman Islands now. We're now looking at the Yucatan Peninsula. We're going to start to see those impacts tonight into tomorrow. We're talking about storm surge, damaging winds, some really rough surf, and heavy rainfall. Could see up to 10 inches in some spots. Because of that, we have these tropical alerts all across the Yucatan Peninsula. And watch what happens as we go throughout the next couple of days. So there's that Category 2 storm. It's encountering a little wind shear, so it's going to weaken a bit as it gets towards the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Really rough terrain there as well. So it's going to weaken to a tropical tropical storm, but then it hits the Gulf. That's going to give some power to the storm and really warm waters. It's really the energy the storm needs. So as we go throughout time here, Sunday at 12 o'clock, a Category 1 storm once again, and then it's going to move towards the coast of Mexico, maybe southern Texas. A lot of models are moving it towards southern Texas, so that's something that we're going to be watching closely over the next several days. Valerie?
Okay, Michelle Grossman, thank you.
Sure.
NBC News correspondent Sam Brock is tracking the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl in Jamaica. He joins us now from Mandeville. Sam, how's it looking out there?
Valerie, good evening. When we were reporting from here last night, we were in Kingston and really remarking about how incredible it was that this massive Hurricane Beryl was just far enough south that it didn't really inflict a ton of wind damage or even storm surge damage throughout Kingston. Well, about halfway through the southern portion of the island is where you find me tonight in Mandeville. It's a bit of a different story. It's not widespread damage here, but there are definitely a number of homes that look like this with huge trees uprooted, power lines dangling, and as you can see, other trees that basically split this man's roof. Portion of the roof was also torn off in the process. And to be honest with you, it also is exemplary of another problem. The power lines that have been everywhere have forced people to take matters into their own hands. I want to show you something. He literally had to take it into his own hands, pulled up the power lines, tied them on a knot next to a tree, and just attached it that way so these lines were not dangling in the streets, which is a perfect segue to the next portion of what I want to tell you. Coming even farther west, out there to Treasure Beach, which is the name you're going to hear a lot from Jamaica in terms of just taking a wallop from this storm, hundreds of homes were absolutely obliterated. We're just driving along these narrow highways, getting out there and looking as there are power poles in the middle of streets, huge trees. People are sort of navigating in and out, long lines at gas stations, and then you're just looking at the livelihood of human beings as they're staring at their homes and seeing just chunks of homes removed. Hundreds of them, we're saying somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 1,000, according to state officials. In fact, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, was down there to tour the damage earlier today. I did have a conversation with a woman who works at a hotel there. Hotel employs 100+ people, right? That's one little snapshot of one business in this entire stretch. And I asked her how many people have been impacted potentially for months, not just weeks, by what happened in the last 48 hours. Here's what she told me. How many people do you think have been touched by this disaster?
The entire community, Treasure Beach, the entire Treasure Beach community. The population, I'm not sure, but
everyone who lives.
Everyone.
Thank you for doing it.
Because there is tourism, there is farming, there is fishing, and that's the livelihood of the entire community.
Your whole livelihood has been turned upside down.
Completely.
The Jamaican police force says that their priority right now, in terms of also just assessing all of this damage, is to make sure that highways are cleared so that if people need medical assistance, they can get to hospitals, because right now, at least from what we were seeing, tons of obstacles out there. Also, some good news to report. The airports are starting to open again in Montego Bay. That happened early this evening, and then for Kingston tomorrow as well. So it's not exactly business as normal. However, we are seeing some signs that things will return to normalcy, except for those areas that are just so unbelievably devastated. That's the latest here from Jamaica. Valerie, let me send it back to you.
Some incredible images there, Sam Brock. Thank you. 4th of July and fireworks go hand in hand here in the U.S., with Washington, D.C. routinely putting up the biggest show in the nation over the National Mall. But behind that magnificent display is months of planning, security preparations, and more. NBC's Gary Grumbach has more from the Potomac River.
Hey there, yeah, as hundreds of thousands of people are gathering on the National Mall for the big fireworks display in just about an hour. There's some excitement on the waters, too, throughout the 4th of July. Folks are out on the Potomac River enjoying themselves today. And that's where we are. We are on D.C. Fireboat 2. This is one of the older fireboats in their collection. And the D.C. Fire Department, along with the Coast Guard and the Metro Police Department, are all part of a joint agency effort to keep folks safe on the waters this 4th of July. One of the big things they were focused on is the idea of drunk driving and the importance that if you're in a car, you can't be drunk driving. You can't be doing that on a boat either. If you're having some beers out on the waters, that's great. Enjoy yourself. But make sure you have a designated driver as well. One of the other safety points they're focused on is the firework safety. A lot of folks are going to be setting off fireworks in about an hour or so. A lot of folks are going to be enjoying themselves. And because of that, we want to make sure folks are safe. And DC Fire and fire companies across the country want to make sure folks are safe. Here's what the fire marshal in D.C. had to say.
fireworks, especially illegal fireworks, they can be going off a lot faster than you anticipate, so they can, explode or launch, before you anticipate, and that can cause burn injuries. It can cause traumas like injuries to hands and fingers, and it can even cause death. So these are incredibly dangerous. We want you to leave those to professionals. We don't want anybody ending up in the emergency room this holiday.
Now, the legality of fireworks varies state to state, even county by county. So make sure you check online for the legality of the fireworks before you set them off. Back to you.
All right, Gary, thank you. The fallout from President Joe Biden's weak debate performance continues. Today, in a radio interview with a station in Wisconsin, the president acknowledging himself that he, quote, screwed up during the debate. This coming just a day after he met with Democratic governors to assure them of his candidacy. What does all of this mean for the state of the presidential race? NBC's Monica Alba has the story.
President Biden tonight celebrating our nation's history.
Happy Independence Day!
With his political future on the line. As sources tell NBC News, the next few days of his campaign are critical after last week's disastrous debate performance, which the president acknowledged in a radio interview that aired today.
I screwed up. I made a mistake. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
Mr. Biden insisting he's committed to staying in the race.
We're going to win this election. We're going to just beat Donald Trump like we did in 2020.
The public confidence comes as NBC News has learned the president is privately torn between defiance and acceptance amid calls to step aside, according to 4 people familiar with the matter, signaling in some conversations with allies, aides, and family members that the blowback may grow too large to overcome.
Yeah, he just quit, he's quitting the race.
Former President Trump made those false claims in a video he shared on social media, in which he also speculated over Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the Democratic nominee.
I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so bad.
The Biden campaign slamming those comments, writing, "No, Donald. What is bad is running on a platform of your revenge and retribution." The VP and President Biden met last night with more than 20 Democratic governors, now rallying around his candidacy.
I believe in this man. I believe in his character. I believe that he has been one of the most transformative presidents in our collective lifetimes.
California Governor Gavin Newsom, campaigning in Michigan today, confirmed details of that White House meeting in which President Biden said he may limit events in the evening to get more sleep. When asked by one of the governors whether he had seen a doctor following the debate, the president conceded he had a brief checkup a few days after and was fine, according to 2 sources in the room, contradicting his own press secretary, who earlier in the day said,
"No, he was not checked by the doctor."
That was Monica Alba reporting. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. Up next, 2 cities that were rocked by violence on the 4th of July are reclaiming their independence. We'll revisit them on the other side of the break. Plus, UK voters head to the polls today, but it may not swing in the favor of the current prime minister. NBC's Raf Sanchez has the latest from London. And later this hour, the future of fireworks. The new debate is between fireworks or drones. We're digging into how communities are opting to celebrate the 4th in tonight's Future of Everything. So stay tuned. For the first time in 2 years, the community of Highland Park, Illinois, has brought back its annual July 4th parade. 7 people died and 48 others were hurt in a mass shooting there back in 2022. Organizers say this year's parade is community-focused and will follow a new route. NBC's Maggie Vespa has more.
Hundreds of people lined these streets here in Highland Park earlier today to, they say, reclaim their right to celebrate the 4th of July without fear. And as soon as that parade started today, people started clapping and cheering, and they kept that up throughout the entire thing. It lasted about half an hour, and people told us some of them were anxious being out here, some of them were apprehensive and a little nervous, knowing, of course, that security was top-notch, that safety was top of mind, but they told us they didn't want to let one person take away their right to celebrate this holiday in their community. And, of course, they're referring to 2 years ago when authorities say a lone gunman opened fire on the crowd at this parade here in Highland Park, killing 7 people and wounding close to 50. We met one couple who was there that day. They were across the street, they say, from the gunman. They narrowly missed being shot by the gunman, and we just asked them, why, 2 years later, did you want to come back? Take a listen. Why did you want to come back out here?
I just felt we should.
You felt you should?
I felt we should. I feel it's an obligation, and we wanted to be here.
I was born and raised in Highland Park.
Okay.
And I think I went to every single parade on July 4th since I was a little kid, and we wanted to come.
Yeah, that duality of emotions that we heard from that couple was kind of what we heard a lot, with people saying that they were determined to come out here. They were, frankly, defiant. They didn't want to be led by fear, but at the same time, they're here, they're looking up, and they're thinking about security. And of course, city officials were too. They told us that Highland Park police took the lead on security, but that they were working with state and federal authorities, and that this entire event today, which, by the way, had the title Sweet Home Highland Park, and of course was marked by Highland Park Strong signs. This entire event was planned with the help of the feds, including the Department of Justice. And they say that was to both make it trauma-informed and sensitive, and that includes planning a new route that avoided the scene of the shooting. And they also, of course, wanted to keep everybody safe as they, and we now know they have, reclaimed their right to celebrate the 4th here in Highland Park. Valerie, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Maggie, thank you. In Baltimore 1 year ago, 30 people were shot in a mass shooting, one of the worst in the city's history. 2 young people died that day. Since then, their mothers have forged a bond, supporting each other as they struggle to cope with their loss. The women sat down for an exclusive interview with NBC News, their first together, to share memories of their children and thoughts about the investigation that still hasn't identified a killer. NBC's Yamiche Alcindor reports.
Tamika Limbreth and Crystal Gonzalez cannot stop thinking about the nightmare they experienced 1 year ago.
I relived this day like there's no tomorrow. And to think our kids just wanted to enjoy themselves.
Their children, 20-year-old Kylis Fagbemi and 18-year-old Aaliyah Gonzalez, were shot and killed during the worst mass shooting in Baltimore's history. 28 others were wounded.
I found my son, but in order for me to get to my son, I went past Aaliyah first. But when Crystal got there and the way she screamed, any mother would have felt that in their bones.
That was the beginning of the worst night of my life.
Kylis and Aaliyah died after people started shooting at the Brooklyn Day event, an annual block party held in the city-run Brooklyn Homes community.
He wanted to become a traveling ultrasound tech, and he was supposed to leave on that Monday. So, yeah, he wanted to go and help people.
Aaliyah was the warmest, compassionate, beautiful soul I've ever encountered. It should have never happened, and this could have been prevented.
9 victims remain at area hospitals.
That sentiment that this did not have to happen echoed by Baltimore's top brass. Last year, Mayor Brandon Scott released a report detailing the actions of multiple city agencies. Baltimore's police department was singled out for failing to respond to multiple warnings as the crowd swelled to an estimated 900 people, and for officer indifference to several calls for help, including reports that some in the crowd were armed.
They didn't give a damn, plainly and bluntly.
Ma'am, I'm trying to locate the address, okay?
It's Brooklyn Home.
Okay.
Oh, they shooting again.
Okay, get down, ma'am, get down.
The people who were calling, begging for someone to come help them. It was heartbreaking.
Last week, Baltimore's police announced disciplinary action against 8 officers and 4 staff members. 2 of them are facing termination. Do you believe that police should have been at this annual event?
I think it's fair to say that if you were there the year before, you should have been there then.
In a statement to NBC News, Baltimore's police commissioner said in part that the department has made several arrests and significant progress in addressing the issues from the Brooklyn Day shooting, and that the investigation continues. That's not enough for Aaliyah and Kylis's mothers. They're planning to sue the city.
Explain why you're suing.
Because the police neglected this community. They weren't acting the way they should have acted to police and protect and serve.
These people can go on and they can find another job. Here it is, Tamika and I are living a life sentence.
Coming up, how Dave & Buster's is betting big on betting. But first, you got to see this. Here's a pup that's not such a good boy. Police say this guy got a little curious and accidentally turned on the stove in his family's home. Some boxes on the stove caught fire, which was quickly put out by his owner. Nobody was injured, but police released this video when they realized who was behind the blaze. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following. Police are still looking for a suspect in Los Angeles who shot 2 officers during a traffic stop. The man opened fire after his car was pulled over, prompting police to fire back. Officials aren't sure if the suspect was hit. Both LAPD officers were injured and are in stable condition. A nightmarish scene at a carnival over in Washington state when a spinning swing ride toppled over. 6 people were hurt in the incident. The ride was shut down and the carnival now closed for the rest of the holiday weekend. Everyone is expected to be okay, with officials investigating how this happened. And speaking of fireworks, this is what $1 million worth of fireworks looks like. Police in Mesa, Arizona are ramping up enforcement after they seized all of these illegal fireworks. They needed 4 semi-trucks just to haul this out of the facility they found them in. Charges against the person who operated the business they were found in are pending. And we're learning today that the Justice Department is opening a criminal investigation into the Chinese doping scandal that took place at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. 23 Chinese swimmers who apparently did not pass their doping tests were still allowed to compete at that year's games, and 3 of them won gold medals. The DOJ is now trying to figure out how that was even allowed to happen. The World Swimming Federation, which was apparently aware of the matter, confirmed today one of their administrators has been asked to testify in the case. NBC News correspondent David Noriega joins us now. David, if World Aquatics was aware of this, how on earth were these athletes allowed to compete? What exactly happened here?
The explanation that Chinese authorities gave is that low levels of this performance-enhancing drug, which is actually a prescription heart medication, were found in multiple players because there was what they called a mass contamination. In other words, they accidentally consumed this drug, which the Chinese said was in the food at a hotel that they were staying in. Now, the World Anti-Doping Agency accepted this explanation, cleared the players of any wrongdoing, and allowed them to play in the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo. And as you said, they are now set to play again in Paris.
So, David, some of this sounds a little bit confusing because the U.S. Department of Justice is investigating something that happened at the World Olympics. Is this even under their jurisdiction? What is the point of this investigation, and what could it lead to?
It is definitely unusual. The point of the investigation, what it could lead to is criminal charges against some of the people involved in what is alleged or suspected to be a conspiracy, a doping conspiracy, and the subsequent cover-up. This is happening because back in 2020, the U.S. passed a law. This is in the context of the big Russian doping scandal taking place around that time, a law allowing U.S. authorities to pursue criminal charges against international actors who are involved in doping schemes for international competitions that involve American athletes, even if the doping scandal or scheme itself does not in any way directly involve American athletes or any Americans at all. It definitely sets up a weird situation where you have the FBI, America's federal domestic law enforcement agency, investigating an incident that does not directly involve any American athletes at all. But it's the result of this new law, which is controversial, by the way. The World Anti-Doping Agency has opposed it from the beginning, and what it could lead to, again, is actual criminal prosecutions of some of the people allegedly involved. Valerie?
All right. We'll have to see how this plays out. David Noriega, thank you. And tonight we're learning about a scary and pretty rare incident off the coast of Texas. 4 people were attacked by what is believed to be the same shark. And this news comes as nearly 100 beaches are closed or have swimming advisories due to high levels of bacteria. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has more.
Yeah, Valerie, good evening. And the 4th of July festivities also coming with a side of beachgoer beware. We're learning more about the shark attack, or attacks rather, happening in Texas. We know, according to officials at South Padre Island, at least one of those attacks involved a man who was attacked by a shark sometime around 11 this morning during a 4th of July celebration on the island. We know that first responders were able to treat him immediately there on the beach, and he was taken away in a stretcher to a nearby hospital, but no word on his condition tonight. But that attack was one of several that prompted the Coast Guard to tell essentially a warning to beachgoers to stay out of the water at an incredibly popular holiday hotspot that's typically packed during the 4th of July weekend. Meanwhile, another concern for people on any coast is the fact that there is this bacteria present due to toxins at specific areas. And that is why officials are encouraging people, particularly here on the California coast, to check with their county health department, because it can vary really beach by beach on if the bacteria levels are high enough to issue either an advisory or shut down that beach altogether. That's the case with at least 3 beaches near San Diego. Meanwhile, several hours to the north, multiple popular beaches in and around the Los Angeles area have had advisories issued due to the high levels of bacteria present in the water. If exposed for a long enough period of time, or if ingested, these can cause severe gastrointestinal issues and in some cases even have organ damage as a result of exposure to these toxins that are in the water. So with all that said, a safe and fun 4th of July holiday can absolutely be had, but people do need to be aware of multiple issues before heading to the water. Valerie?
All right, Morgan Chesky, thank you. A new spin on sports betting this summer, moving from sports tournaments to online bars and arcades. One software company is trying to expand online wagering into friendly competitions, announcing a deal that will bring betting to places like Dave & Buster's. NBC's Brian Chung has more.
Everyone gets a free bet? Man, that's big.
Sports betting is everywhere, from TV shows to arenas to right on your phone. Ads are urging you to sign up and bet. And with mobile betting, it's easier than ever to place a wager. But sports betting now stretching beyond the big leagues. One company seeking to bring it to the games you play.
All the offline challenges you're doing with your buddies, we make that digital, right? So we make it easy and approachable for you to challenge your friends, both for real money and free to play.
Lucra is a gamification platform, allowing customers to challenge each other to skills-based competitions for cash and other rewards. It just made a big splash, inking a deal with restaurant and arcade giant Dave & Buster's.
I'll be able to challenge you, hey, who's going to win in a game of air hockey, right? $5 or a burger.
And it can function in pretty much any space where someone's competing, like bars, basketball courts, you name it.
Someone could just put down $10 in cash, so why would they choose to go?
Yeah, it's such a good question. With Lucra, we're meeting the fan or the competitor where they are. They're on a platform they know, they trust.
Meaning you're actually placing wagers through the Dave & Buster's app or on Tennis One, the popular app for tennis fans, another partner. There are some limitations, though.
You're not going to be able to wager on a 10 or 12-year-old. You're also not going to be able to wager on somebody else.
And at Dave & Buster's, you'll only be able to bet if you're 18. Neither Lucra nor its partner companies take money from the transactions. Lucra makes money from licensing agreements as the partners seek more engagement in their apps.
We both have a shared vision of helping consumers connect with each other and have a good time.
Lucra's most recent partnership is with TouchTunes, essentially a modernized jukebox. With over 65,000 bars and restaurants across the country, the partnership will bring betting to bar games.
It starts with darts, and then from there, we're in discussions with essentially every major manufacturer of skill-based amusement games.
But it comes as concerns mount over sports betting addiction. A survey from the NCAA last year found that 2/3 of students living on campus are betting on sports, and 6% lost more than $500 in a single day. Experts say checks and balances are needed.
Whenever I see these sorts of products come out, the first thing that would cause me worry is whether or not we're targeting vulnerable populations with these activities. Are there safeguards being in place to accommodate those potential negative consequences?
Lucra says it has guardrails like age verification, the ability to set limits, and easy ways to pause or delete your account.
Our real goal is, this is the behavior that I think a lot of Americans have done in a long, long time, but we're kind of bringing it above board, we're bringing it online.
And now we're allowing our partners to facilitate competition in their ecosystem.
Brian Chung, NBC News.
All right, still ahead, after 14 years, the Conservative Party has been ousted in the United Kingdom. More on what the exit polls are telling us this hour in a moment, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping meet for the second time in as many months, this time at a security summit in Kazakhstan. Yesterday, both men agreed that relations between their two countries are, quote, at their best in history, a sentiment that is likely to upset Western powers who want China to stop enabling Russia in its war against Ukraine. A rather chaotic moment at the Palace of Versailles in France today that saw armed police rush in and immediately evacuate the tourist attraction. An official statement was released on X saying security forces are on site and the palace is closed. Local reports say it all stems from some kind of fight between street vendors. McDonald's is cutting back on its breakfast time in Australia because of an egg shortage, which has been caused by bird flu outbreaks there, affecting some 11 poultry farms. So instead of having McDonald's breakfast go until noon, like it typically does in Australia, it will temporarily end at 10:30 a.m. And a cave painting in Indonesia is said to be the oldest such artwork in the world. A study published this week in the journal Nature puts it at more than 51,000 years old, also calling it the world's first known evidence of storytelling in art. But it is still unclear what it exactly shows. Best guesses are bird creatures hunting a wild pig. A, quote, breakthrough has been made after Israel tells ceasefire negotiators to get back to discussing a hostage release deal with Hamas. This coming from a senior Biden administration official. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley has the latest.
Tonight, Israel's prime minister telling President Biden that Israel will send negotiators to another round of ceasefire talks and now studying a Hamas response to its proposal. Hamas still holds the power in Gaza, but our NBC News team there discovering growing signs it's losing public support. This woman has just seen the body of her slain son. He was killed by an Israeli bombardment, but she directs her anger at Hamas, whose October 7th attacks sparked the Israeli invasion. I hope that God will destroy you, Hamas, like you destroyed our children, she yells. This kind of dissent against Hamas's rule was once rare in Gaza, and it's still risky. But as Israel's war enters its 10th month, frustration is overflowing. This man speaks to a stunned crowd in front of a hospital. We have a filthy leadership. They got used to our bloodshed, he says. Nader Saeed regularly conducts polls face-to-face throughout the Palestinian territories.
The Hamas popularity among the populace who are actually living now in shelters, in tents, in makeshift, communities, is declining.
For many here, this is Hamas's war, and they're sacrificing Gazan civilians. This opposition activist says we refuse to continue the war over our kids and women's bodies and blood. And as Israel's assault on the Gaza Strip continues, the Hamas-run Ministry of Health there said that the death toll has just surpassed 38,000 since those October 7th attacks.
Over in the UK, voters are making their way to the polls for the first time since 2019, and it looks like they're ready to hand a huge victory to the Labour Party this time around after 14 years of Conservative rule. NBC's Raph Sanchez has more on what's going on.
Hey there, voting has now finished across Britain, and exit polls are projecting an absolutely crushing defeat for the ruling Conservative Party, which has been in power in this country for the last 14 years, now potentially heading for one of the worst performances in that party's history, while the progressive opposition Labour Party is projected to win in a landslide. There is very little doubt at this point that it will be the leader of Labour, Keir Starmer, who tomorrow will walk through that famous black door of Downing Street as the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and the leader of America's closest ally on the world stage. Starmer is a centrist. He is a supporter of NATO and of Ukraine. His policy and his politics, very compatible with President Biden, but could be deeply at odds with a second-term Donald Trump. If he is reelected in November, that could be one of the early challenges facing this new British Prime Minister. These exit polls are also projecting that a new populist right-wing party known as Reform, which is deeply anti-immigration and led by a British ally of Donald Trump, may win as many as 13 seats, which would be a first in British political history. Back to you.
And tonight, a potential breakthrough for children with cancer. Doctors in England using what's called whole genome sequencing to give quicker and more specialized results than standard testing. Sky News' Tom Clark spent time with one young patient who'd undergone treatment using this testing. Today, he's cancer-free.
3.5 years ago, when he was 6, Eddie was diagnosed with an uncommon, aggressive form of leukemia. Blindsided by the diagnosis, his mum, like any parent, wanted to know anything that might improve his treatment.
You're sort of grasping at anything that will give you either reassurance or a better prognosis.
And in Eddie's case, there was something, the opportunity to have the entire genetic sequence of his cancer decoded.
When you see your child go through something like this, it's heartbreaking. And you just want anything to make it better. And tests like this, where it just gives them extra information, it's so important. And it's not a little bit of information, it's a lot.
The human genome contains 3 billion letters of DNA code. Having access to each of those genetic building blocks, including all those with mutations linked to cancer, can help improve treatment decisions, according to this new study, which included Eddie and 280 other children with cancer. NHS England already makes this whole genome sequencing available to any child with cancer or suspected cancer. But new and complex, its uptake hasn't been widespread. The researchers hope their findings change that.
Instead of doing a best guess for those patients, which is still really comprehensive treatment, it allowed us to really target the treatment so the patient got the right amount of treatment. So you're not over-treating them and all the toxicity that brings, but equally not under-treating patients and risking a relapse. So for us, this was really revolutionary.
In Eddie's case, the test revealed his brother Leo had no increased risk of leukemia himself and allowed his doctors to be confident that he'd respond well to standard treatment. And he did.
This course is run.
Last week, his treatment ended and his cancer is in remission.
It feels great to be normal again, like see my friends and like ring the bell. Yeah, great.
What are you looking forward to doing?
See my friends.
Going on holiday.
His doctors hope testing like Eddie received won't just help others, but provide new insights into how errors in children's DNA causes cancer and perhaps point to new ways to stop it. Tom Clark, Sky News.
Before we go, it's time for the future of everything. TikTok has launched the next wave of AI avatars. NBC's Maya Eaglin will be here in a moment to tell us all about them. And what's the 4th of July without fireworks? We're taking a look at the future of fireworks in just a moment, so stay tuned. In a world of digital deepfakes, it's harder than ever to know what to believe online. Now, one of the world's most popular apps is about to unleash an AI tool that gives access to users to create custom avatars. And TikTok believes it is the future of creativity. NBC's Maya Eaglin joins me now on set with more. Maya, explain, first of all, what this is, how it works, and is this something that TikTok is going all in on?
Yeah, so Valerie, TikTok has released a bunch of AI tools that they are calling Symphony, and part of the rollout are these AI avatars. They are saying this is an ad solution for businesses, and it's separated into 2 categories. So first we have the stock avatars, and then we've got custom avatars. Stock avatars are actually based on paid actors that are cleared for commercial use, and it will be kind of like a library available for businesses to select to use for their commercials on the platform. Mm-hmm. Custom avatars now are going to allow creators themselves to create an avatar based on their own name and likeness, and companies will actually be able to use these avatars for their businesses and commercials. So a lot of mixed reaction here in the comments on TikTok, but I want to play an example really quick and then we'll talk on the other side.
Hi there, my name is Adrian. Well, not Adrian, but TikTok's latest Symphony digital avatar. I am a custom avatar born from TikTok's latest generative AI technology.
With avatars, I can speak any language, making it easier than ever to form real and native connections with local communities.
So as you can see, super realistic.
Wow.
I know. The other interesting part too is that 10 different languages are going to be available to these avatars for them to be able to use. So on the one side, we do see this accessibility factor. There will be a lot more globalization here. But some critics are really concerned about the spread of misinformation and the ethics behind all of this.
Well, and I just asked you, is that an avatar? Because obviously it looks like a real person. TikTok is huge, right? There's over 1 billion active users worldwide. How are we going to be able to tell who's who in that big of a crowd online?
It's becoming harder and harder. I think the best piece of advice is just to be skeptical of everything we see. But there are some things that TikTok is going to do. So they're saying they're going to do their best to label these AI videos with a tag to add some transparency. And they've also launched an industry advisory board full of tech professionals and huge creators to kind of test out this technology before a full rollout. Whether you're on TikTok or not, though, one really good tip is to look at the eyes and the mouth. If you notice that there's kind of this unnatural gaze or stare that feels weird or blinks that feel weird, that can be a sign. And also sometimes the mouth doesn't match up with every single syllable. So definitely something to look out for.
This is bizarre. I know you mentioned some companies might be using this. Will people be getting paid to use this or create these avatars?
So that comes back to the two types of avatars that are available. So for the custom avatars, these are going to offer there's going to be an ad credit incentive for creators to create their own avatar for businesses to use. So if they do create a custom avatar and use it in an ad, TikTok is going to discount the cost of that campaign for them. But for the stock avatars, those are already paid actors, and those are pretty much all ready to go in business accounts for TikTok holders. So this isn't open yet completely. It's still in the beta testing mode, and we'll be watching to see when that full rollout does come up.
Yeah, any idea when that could be, when everyone could have access to this?
Not sure yet. I will be watching closely. I know some people online have been resharing the clip that we just showed, so definitely some mixed reactions there, and when we get the timeline, I'll let you know.
All right, Maya, it's pretty wild. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Yep.
Are you team drones or team fireworks? That is the question tonight, as millions will be celebrating the 4th of July with light shows in the night sky. This year, some towns are embracing the future with dazzling drone displays, while others are going nostalgic with a return to the classic fireworks that never get old. Take a look.
2 years ago, NBC News visited Gypsum, Colorado to see its big move to drones for its 4th of July celebration. But this year, they're bringing back good old-fashioned fireworks.
Drones just didn't cut it for the 4th of July.
Yeah, they left us wanting, I would say, and it didn't feel like America.
And they're not the only ones ditching drones. Along with Gypsum, Parker, Colorado, Redondo Beach, California, and Galveston, Texas. Across the country, more towns are switching back.
Fireworks can capture attention and inspire awe like little else can. They're fun.
Drones had been gaining in popularity. They're safer, easier to operate, and can do things fireworks just can't.
It really is a unique storytelling medium.
Rick Boss's company Sky Elements is behind some of the biggest and more innovative drone displays in the country.
Are drones better than fireworks?
I would say they're different.
But fireworks fans say there's no competition.
Fireworks, they touch on all the senses.
Phil Grucci is the CEO of Fireworks by Grucci, America's first family of fireworks. In business since 1850, they've provided pyrotechnics for presidential inaugurations and the Olympics.
There's the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the sense of feel, and you hear it. And drones, they cover one emotion, one sense, is the eye, is vision.
Every show starts on the screen.
How long does it take you to design something like that?
It's about an hour a minute.
Then comes the setup.
Is this the bigger version of a Roman candle?
It's pretty much a commercial version of what you can go buy at a local fireworks store.
But much more powerful.
Yes.
And when the sun sets,
3, 2, 1.
The show begins. But drones aren't going away, and now they're getting better with fireworks on drones.
They both can do some things that the other cannot do. It's why we really love them to come together.
This year, his company is testing new pyro drones that bring the best of both together. A new patriotic battle in the sky for the oohs and ahs of Americans.
Well, that sound just says fireworks and 4th of July to me. That does it for us tonight. I'm Valerie Castro. Have a happy and safe 4th of July. We'll see you tomorrow, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.